Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of our weekly MMA talk show, Chokes and Eye Pokes, where we discuss all things MMA and combat sports related. I'm your host as always, Vern. I'm joined by my co-host, Jack. Jack, how's it going?
No, good. It was good. Like that was a really good card to watch. Wow.
Yeah,
Did not expect what happened in the main event to happen, but yeah, really impressive.
yeah, that was
Wow.
very, very quick ending to the main event.
Yeah.
Few other surprising, but also not so surprising results. Like the Gastelum one. We'll get into the results in a second, but the
Yeah.
Gastelum one was like always on a coin flip. But I did not expect him to lose in that way if he lost. So
Yeah.
that was
For sure. And the Misha Tate one was also good to see her get
mm,
part of the night. I saw that they gave it was like half a bar of bonuses, which is really cool.
yeah, they did. You're actually 100% right. I'm just looking at the exact payouts here
Yeah.
because there was quite a few. So 500,000 in bonuses awarded. Tsarukyan, Jalen Turner, Sean Brady, Dustin Stoltzfus, Misha Tate, Cody Brundage, Prakar Klose, Rodolfo Bellato, Ihor Pateria, Jared Gooden. So 500K paid out in bonuses.
Nice.
Also, if I just look at the top five highest paid, there's actually a lot of again people making issues on fighter pay, but
Yeah.
in a fight night, Benil Dariush got 521,000.
Yeah.
Armin Tsarukyan got 506,000. Bobby Green 271,000. Rob Font 166K, and Davison Figueiredo 126K. So the last two still good.
Yeah, for a fight night, and also for those names. I mean, Tsarukyan, that's really nice to know because he's also. I mean, he deserves the payday. He's that good.
Yeah.
But he's not that big a name, so I wouldn't have anticipated that.
Yeah, he was what, eighth in the world, and now I think he's gone up to fourth or fifth. I've also got the rankings. We'll touch on those a little bit later, but yeah, I mean, good card. Obviously, everybody got rewarded. Maybe the news of PFL and Bellator did get to Dane a little bit, even though
Yeah.
he said it didn't. But we'll get to that as well in a little bit. We've got let's get to the results.
Yeah.
We've got the results of the UFC fight night, Dariush versus Tsarukyan. First up, we had Puna. Puna was not winning. Puna was not winning in this instance. Dustin Stoltzfus beat Puna Soriano, Punahela Soriano, round 2 submission.
Yeah.
What did you make of that?
I don't know. I saw it coming after the first round. I think Puna, like, I don't know. It was he had a good rhythm initially, but it was set off pretty quick in second round. Like you could see it was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I wasn't really. I mean, it was on a coin flip. It was one of those coin flip fights.
Yeah.
Fair play to Stoltzfus. He bounced back from his loss to Abus. Puna's now 2 losses in a row, and both times he got finished.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know what's gonna happen with Puna. What do you?
Yeah, I know he's still entertaining for sure, and like we it was a coin flip because he's like I don't know. I think that he can have this kind of performance, then come back and like knock someone's like their lights out. So it's I don't know. He's still fun to watch, but I don't know who he fights next. I don't think I see him in like as a top 10 fighter ever, if I'm honest.
No, especially not in that stacked middleweight division. I mean, not
No.
even Stoltzfus, to be honest. Maybe give him a top 15, top 10, but I don't know. Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, Stoltzfus improves to 15-5. Puna drops to 9-4. Like I say, 2 losses in a row. So yeah, let's see what happens there. Clay Guida lost to Joaquim Silva by decision. Okay, so first of all, we both got this wrong. So big red X next to our names for the the middleweight fight. Then we had Joaquim Silva beating Clay Guida by decision. Thought it would happen, something like that. I mean, Clay Guida is it's really hard to finish unless you submit him. So fair play to Silva. Silva improving now to 13-5, excuse me, and Guida dropping to 38-24, 2-fight losing streak. Silva now bouncing back from his loss. What did you make of that?
I know. I like Silva. I think that he's got a very good style. I don't know how old he is. He doesn't look like a spring chicken, but he reminds me a little bit of like a young. I'm forgetting the Brazilian fighter that Conor beat. You know, the big champion. You know.
Oh, Jose Aldo.
Yeah, he's got a similar style to Jose, I would say.
Joaquim's 34, by the way.
Okay. So he's not that. I mean, I don't think he's gonna make a run, but he's a good one to watch, I think.
Look, if he makes a run, he's got one chance of making this run.
Yeah.
So Yeah, he's very entertaining. He is very well skilled and well rounded. In all honestly speaking, though, Clay Guida still a tough veteran, but no one expected. We didn't
Him
expect
to
Clay
win.
Guida to win that.
Yeah.
So I'd like it to see him get a step up in competition. Another step up in competition. I don't know who yet, because that lightweight division is so stacked, and like I mentioned, we'll get to the rankings soon and all that. But yeah, what a performance. Clay Guida, respect though. I mean, it's still hard to put him away. He's
Yeah.
not 34, by the way. I think you said last week he's 34.
Yeah.
No, he's much older. He's like 39 or something, or 41
Okay.
or something
That
like that.
makes
I
more
looked this week,
sense.
yeah,
That
because I
makes more
do
sense.
remember watching him 15 years ago.
Yes. That makes
So
sense.
yeah, well done to Silva over there. Then we had essentially the definitive result of this week. Spoiler alert, but you guys already knew that. Sean Brady beating Calvin Gastelum. Did not expect the submission on Gastelum,
Yeah.
like at all. I thought Sean Brady might have a bit of ring rust, but obviously, if he did have any, it didn't show, and he was quickly got rid of it.
Yeah.
Gastelum up and down, always. You never know what you're gonna get with that guy.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Sean was really good on top though. That
Mm.
was quite clinical. I don't think at any point he was in any danger in that fight. It was just like domination the whole time. I think that if he hadn't have won and it gone to decision, there was maybe like a 10-8 round. I think the second round I'd give 10-8.
Possibly, yeah, possibly. Where to now for Gastelum? I mean, Gastelum's now dropping down to 17-9. He's lost 6 of his last 8 and 3 of his last 4. Bouncing up and down between divisions. I can't find a home anywhere. So, I mean, I wonder what to for now for him.
Yeah. I know, but I also think that it was a very brave fight to take going down as well, because Sean Brady is I don't know, I still, like I said, I believe that hype. I think that he should now try. He's not going to get the Bilal fight again, but he should definitely fight someone in the top 5. Like I think that he can make a run. So it was a very tough fight for Gastelum. I think he can still welterweight seems like it's still like maybe a good decision. I don't know.
I think so. As long as you can keep it's not a struggle for him to keep the weight off, So here we go. Yeah, look, well, for Brady now, he's actually gone and called out Mr. Cuck himself.
Ian Gary.
Which someone commented on the last video that Ian Gary's not a cuck. There's multiple definitions for one. It just means someone whose wife cheats on them.
Yeah,
that's one of the definitions. So anyway, basically what he then said is, I think he's whack. I do not ragdoll him. I think he's the easiest fight in the division. I'm going to do something that I just did. I'm going to do the same thing that I just did to Calvin to him.
I don't think you can do the same thing. I don't know. Well, I think Ian Gary's got pretty good takedown defense. But
he's pretty well rounded. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't think he's going to beat Luque.
Interesting. I think that matches up pretty well for him. Well, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Brady, I do think would win that fight though.
I also think Brady would win that fight. Yeah, I don't think the UFC wants to make that fight just yet. I don't think they want to derail the hype train. Provided Luque doesn't do it.
Yeah.
So Brady, big things to come from him. Jack, you got that one right. I got a big next to my name, so on that one. So congratulations there. Then we also had Rob Font losing by decision to Davidson Figueiredo. Yeah. We both got this one right. I don't know if we got the method right. I need to go double check.
Yeah, I
think I said decision. I think I got the method right. Not that it matters now because you got the previous result, but I think you said finish.
Yeah, I think I said or submission. I can't remember. Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah,
finish. Yeah. What do you think of this result?
Your Davison was very impressive. I think he's bantamweight seems like his division. Well, he didn't seem that big. He seemed like almost the same size, honestly. But yeah, Font. I know it's quite sad to see. I'm quite a fan of Font. But yeah,
they throw Font to the wolves. Hey, they give him all the tough fights.
Yeah,
but
honestly,
hey, fair enough. You're there. You're in the UFC. You're there to fight the best. So
and he got paid. So that's at least nice to know.
He got paid. Yeah. Look, Figueiredo. The thing is, like, the energy I think you have from not having to do such a massive weight cut. I think that's a massive thing. Not having that stress of like, am I going to make weight? Oh, you can think about weight instead of training. So I think that's a big, big boost. And it did show, I mean, he might not have been that much bigger, but the energy that he had.
Yeah, the output for sure. I absolutely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. He's also come out now, this week. and he's basically said he's ready for the bantamweight title shot now. He says he'll finish champ Sean O'Malley.
Honestly, like, I mean, it's a maybe not there just yet, but I think he can make a run for sure. Yeah.
It's a bit of a tough one because there's so many good fighters up there. Like Cheeto Vera is going to fight O'Malley now.
Yeah.
There's also now Corey Sanhagen and Makhmedov is supposedly going to have a fight.
Yeah.
That's in the works as well. You've got Piotr Jan wanting to fight Figueiredo. He's gone and said here, actually, I've seen there's a quote saying Figgy versus Jan, book it as soon as possible. So there's a lot of options for that.
Yeah. I also did see this week that Henry is practically booked with what's Aljo's his training partner?
Marab.
Yeah.
That's a good fight, dude. I like that fight.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes sense because Marab's not going to fight O'Malley and Henry needs a fight.
Yeah.
If he beats Marab, he's fighting for title.
Yeah, for sure. I really like that stylistically as well. I don't know if it stays on the ground or if they both want to keep it standing, but it'll be a banger. Yeah, keen.
Interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Okay, then we get to another surprising but not so surprising result. This one more for the controversy afterwards. Jalen Turner won by KO, which he had to do in the first round because of all the weight he cut. He cut from 180 pounds, 11
crazy.
days out, dude.
That's crazy.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, 25, 26 pounds, 11 days out. So in kilograms, it doesn't sound too bad, but on his frame, a kilogram a day, I mean, he probably just loaded water and was in the sauna doing cardio, and that was pretty much it.
I just want to know how he cut. So do you see the weigh-in? He first weighed in at, I think it was 157, and then like disappeared for like an hour and came back at 156.
Yeah, they give you 2 hours to go cut the weight. So you basically you can put a sweatsuit on. It's all water weight. You just pop a sweatsuit on, you go run, you go sit in the sauna, you can do whatever. That's what they give you those 2 hours. I don't think the UFC was going to say no, you can't cut that extra pound and a half. So yeah, knockout, solid knockout. Knocked him out cold. Bobby Green took 19 unanswered shots before the referee stopped it.
Yeah, it was a bad stop.
It was sickening actually to watch,
That's years of his career, I'd say, as well.
Oh, well, it's almost maybe his career done because he's 37, dude.
Yeah.
So, So Armin Tsarukyan actually commented on it because they had a bit of a falling out.
I did see that, yeah.
Said he was talking shit about me. I just came and asked him, bro, don't talk shit about me because where I'm from, you can't just talk. You've got to answer for your words. So he pushed me, I pushed him, and that's it. Done. Hopefully I'm going to get to see him again in my life. I was super happy when his head was bouncing off the canvas. That's a little bit hectic, but hey, it's the fight game, dude. I mean,
I saw that altercation. I don't know. I don't think Tsarukyan came off too cool there. He basically like jumped him, or he like
ambushed him with his whole squad.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
So 19 unanswered shots, dude. That's sickening. Dana White commented on it, but look, I mean, Jalen Turner also commented on it saying like, "It's not my responsibility to stop."
Yeah, of course,
which is 100% correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, then we get so we both got that one wrong. Actually, we thought the weight cut was going to be a little bit too much for him, but congratulations, Jalen Turner. Beneil Dariush lost this one, but I did not expect it to happen this quick. KO, 1 minute 4 seconds of the first round. Armin Tsarukyan put him away with ease. Pretty sad for Beneil, going on an 8-fight win streak.
Yeah, and then to have these 2 losses.
And he could have just waited for his title shot, but fair play to him, he went for it. But yeah, dude, Tsarukyan's just on a whole nother level.
Real deal. I honestly, I prefer him fighting for the title more than Charles. I still think Gaethje should be the one, but now if we have that conversation of why is Charles going to fight again, it's because he beat Beneil. He didn't beat him as quick as Tsarukyan did now.
Well, Armin said something like that. Armin said, well, basically, Beneil was having his way with you on the ground. He couldn't even get a chance with me, which is fairly true.
Yeah.
But that plays into Charles's game.
Yeah.
But in fight mats never equates to anything. But I mean, Tsarukyan's made a case now, dude.
And if you look at just the fight with Islam, Tsarukyan had more success than Charles did. So I think that he's at least more of a fight to book than Charles now.
So Armin actually came back and he said, "I'm improved. The next fight is going to be a different one. I'm going to knock him out." That's what he said about Islam, and I wouldn't argue against it.
Yeah, dude. For sure. I mean, the way that he got Dariush this time, it came out of nowhere. Like, it was just precision. It was just like the timing. Insane.
Super impressive, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, bro. Everybody knows we're big fans of Armin, but like, bro,
That was
it
crazy.
has to be now, surely.
Yeah.
You know, and Dana, but look, Dana said Tsarukyan versus Islam at Abu Dhabi would be crazy.
Mm.
So why not?
And if not, I think, well, if they do choose to either do Gaethje or Charles, I know Armin. I hope he still fights up like a Dustin Poirier, or like I don't. I guess that's the only one up from him now, other than Gaethje.
Well, they did a poll on MMA on Point where they said what's next for Armin.
Yeah.
The first option was the loser of Makhachev versus Oliveira. Then it was Justin Gaethje or Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
And I think those are probably the three most realistic fights to make, because if you don't do it for with him and Islam, you can maybe do it for the BMF title, because if Gaethje's not going to defend the BMF title, then what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point of having that title?
Yeah. But I still think Gaethje should fight for the title.
I think so too, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is there's a thing about recency and relevancy at the
For
time, you
sure.
know, and Gaethje's like dropped off. You know, everyone knows Gaethje, but like that whole hype of him knocking Poirier out is now long gone.
Yeah.
So I just wish they would stop doing this BMF title, because they can't give you an actual title shot.
Yeah. And it's I don't know, because I just still think of, so his fight against Fiziev, like Fiziev at that time was a major killer. I think that was like he derailed the hype train then, and then he also beat Poirier, and I think that's more impressive than what Charles did to now get this title.
And he's a wrestler too. I mean, he's got a wrestling background, so it makes it the fight makes itself. But
Yeah.
the nice thing is, you know, either way, whichever fight they make, it's gonna be great for us as fans to watch.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
So Jack, congratulations. You take this week.
Thank you.
Well done. Enjoy it while it lasts. We'll see if
Yeah.
you can maintain. It's all fine getting there.
Yeah,
It's how long can you stay there?
The pressure, man.
The pressure is amazing.
Yo.
So yeah, well, congratulations on that, Jack. Yeah, you're the champion for this week. Yeah, so Dana White actually commented on that. I think that's the reason why people got paid so much. He basically said, one shitty organization that sells no tickets and nobody watches buys another shitty organization that sells no tickets and nobody watches.
Fair.
Sounds like a winner to me.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean,
I still don't get like what's the strategy behind PFL, because I mean he's right who buys PFL tickets. It was, I don't know. How does, like, are they just trying to, is it similar to Francis Ngannou's one where they purposefully lose money because they know that they're going to make money eventually? Like, I don't get it.
Are they though? That's the thing.
Right?
Like Bellator, Dana White spoke about Bellator previously, and he was just saying about how much of a money trap it is. Like you could, I don't know. I mean, look, like we said last week, the competition's great and everything, but it doesn't make any sense to me just yet. The financials, nothing makes sense to me. And yes, okay, I get funders, but if it then becomes a success and you've sold off so much of the company, it doesn't really become yours.
Yeah.
So,
and you did send me a photo of PFL offered, it was Jake Paul and Nate Diaz, 15 million not rand,
no,
dollars.
Offered just Nate Diaz $15 million.
Yeah, like that doesn't make any sense. It's like, what gate matches that? Like Madison Square Garden, that probably doesn't even get 15 mil.
Jake Paul's fight's another one that to me makes no sense. You know, that's why they're fighting all these fights in Saudi, because in Saudi Jake Paul made 30 million, he said.
Yeah.
You know, he sold apparently like 60 something thousand or 600. No, he claimed 600,000 or something like that. And he only sold less than 100,000 for.
Yeah.
It's the Tyron Woodley fight, I think. I forget these numbers, so don't quote me on these numbers. But the finances of these things make zero sense to me.
Yeah.
So look, Dana might be. I think maybe Dana might. He usually doesn't comment in this fashion. People say he doesn't comment on this fashion unless he's worried about something. I think it's the opposite. I think he makes sure to comment on things when he knows what he's talking about. I don't think he says something sometimes where it's like, and it comes back later that he didn't really know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But here, I kind of agree with him. It's sad to say, because it is nice to have competition. You know, it's the whole thing of like competition makes everybody better. We spoke about it last week, but yeah, I just thought it was funny that Dana did that, but then at the same time ended up paying so many performance bonuses. It was actually quite crazy.
But it's still like a reasonable amount if you think about like the overall finances of the UFC. Like that's like conservative, especially when you look at PFLs, what they're paying their fighters.
Yeah,
So
but
like,
you've got to make money off the event though. You can't hemorrhage money off each event, because if they did that
yeah,
for every event, then it would be nothing left.
yeah, for sure.
So just interesting to see. So yeah. I don't know if you saw that finally John Jones responded
Mm-mm.
to Tim Aspinall.
I was wondering when that was going to happen.
I'm going to read you the quote. He says, "I faced the absolute toughest competition this world has to offer for 15 years now."
Yeah.
Fact. "During camp for a title defense, I sustained a major injury that required surgery for the first time in my career." True.
Yeah.
"Now I have newcomers requesting to get my championship stripped. 0 wins over legends, 0 title defenses, and already thinking you can call the shots to Dana. That's hilarious. In my 15-year career, I've seen so many guys who are supposed to be the next big thing. Fact. There's ever only been one John Jones. Never forget that." Fact. Fair enough.
Yeah, fair.
So basically saying I'm not stripping my title. You're not going to strip me my title because of what I've done before.
Yeah.
Everything you're saying is 100% correct, John Jones. I don't agree, though, that they shouldn't strip your title. I think it's holding up the division, honestly.
You're saying that they should strip
They
it?
should strip, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
agree that they shouldn't.
I don't know. I feel like honestly, if they strip it and then he gets an immediate title, he gets an immediate title fight, I think that's actually better for his legacy, because then it's like what 4-time champion. You know,
Mm.
like just in terms of how that can work out. Yeah, because it doesn't really make that much sense while he's out. You know.
I think now that we've spoken about this at length before, but making an interim title and not making the interim champ
Unification.
and having the unification makes no sense.
Yeah.
I can understand from John Jones' point of view, because he would want that pay-per-view money as a champion, but it's John Jones. Everything he's just said in this quote, he can use towards the UFC to say, give me all the pay-per-view on the back end, the pay-per-view money and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if, I guess he just, what I think it might also be, because he is a big legacy guy. It's probably also about the number of title defenses.
Yeah.
So I can understand why he wouldn't want to strip, and he's gonna fight to the end.
Yeah.
There have been champions that haven't been stripped, and had a title for a year.
Yes.
So fair enough.
Yeah.
But I just again think like you should be able to defend it, and you should have a unification bout between the champion and the interim. So maybe they go for that fight eventually.
Yeah.
But now you got this young guy that's got to sit up. But we've spoken about it at length, but still.
I feel the same. Like if I think about the layoff that he's gonna realistically have from the surgery, it's still gonna be in the ballpark of what Leon Edwards, his layoff now. So it's like it's fine, But yeah, the thing for me is also that unification, because it's just gonna be a weird space when after the Stipe fight's over, then like
he's gonna probably leave anyway.
yeah, and then like what happens with Aspinall? He just would have been an interim champion for like years at that point until he eventually gets to either get the title because they both retire, or like fight the winner. So it's just a long road,
Yeah, what John Jones is saying is true, but I don't think you should.
I think they kind of stuffed up with making it an interim title. With Tom Aspinall. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know if you saw there's a new mythical fighter that's been unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one.
Another
for the mythical
one.
fighters list. Mike Perry and Bareknuckle.
Yeah. Wow.
This is crazy, eh?
Yo, it's such a good fight. Actually, I'm not sure how I feel about the King of Violence thing. That was like pretty odd. It feels like it's just trying to do the similar to
Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, he's made for Bareknuckle. He's really, really made for Bareknuckle. Yeah, shame. Eddie Alvarez actually broke his orbital, I think, in a couple of places. He wanted to carry on, but Mike Perry's got options there. I mean, he had the Conor McGregor face-off in the ring. That's obviously not going to happen just yet.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future. They're actually joking about Bareknuckle FC. They're like, they give it 6 months after Tony Ferguson retires, he's going to be in Bareknuckle. It's interesting though, because people want a fantasy book now. They want to get the real fight that people want to see is the BMF versus Mike Perry.
Gaethje. I would love to see that actually.
Ooh, imagine that.
And if Gaethje doesn't get a title fight, I think he should, honestly.
The money's good. Why not? They pay. From what I understand, they pay pretty well in BKFC.
Yeah.
I mean,
the only thing is that's boxing, then it's not MMA. So I'm not sure if Gaethje
likes the box.
That's true. Yeah. But it was a really, really good fight. I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of options. Who's he gonna fight next? So you're gonna have to see. But I think it was it's tailor made for him.
Yeah.
For Mike Perry. So yeah, that was a very, very entertaining fight. Even though
And what a cool build up as well. I just really like those two, especially in the press conference. Yeah, it was.
he said he might fight him. He said he might do the rematch in Philly if they can get it booked. So that would be interesting to see. Bare Knuckle's making its way up, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Bare Knuckle boxing thing.
I think it helps that I think this fight in particular was it was quite a super fight for them. Like I think it makes sense for that organization to try rebook them. Yeah.
Also, dude, Mike Perry's always been entertaining outside the ring, and now in the ring, it's like
he's
become a star. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what happens there.
It's nice to see that you found that place because also in the UFC he I don't know, he wasn't he was never like a top 5 guy or something. So it's nice to see that he
he's a brawler, dude. That's the thing is
Yeah.
like when you start getting brawlers against athletes, you get fighters
Yeah.
and you get people who fight. He's a fighter.
Yeah.
So he's not necessarily always interested in like what they consider boring stuff of going to the ground and clinching and that. He just wants to stand and punch,
Yeah.
kick and all that. So that's why this is just tailor made for him. So congrats, Mike Perry. It'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be watching that one.
Yeah.
For sure. So Paulo Costa, I had the quote, but we will put it up on screen.
Yeah.
Basically said he's ready to go for a fight with Robert Whittaker. He said something about the gourmet Chechens not ready.
Yeah.
So now he's ready to fight Robert Whittaker. I like the prospect of this fight. I just don't know if Paulo Costa is going to make it.
Yeah, I mean, how many times were they booked before? It was like 2 or 3, right?
Such a huge amount. I don't know, dude. He's become unreliable to try to make that fight, But it's a fight that makes sense unless you put him against Allen.
Yeah. That would also be really cool. I just want to see Robert fight again. I like whether it's Costa or just book him, like him versus Khamzat would also be really, really cool. But I do like that fight. They said February, right?
I think so. I think UFC 298 or 99. But I just want to see what his comeback's going to be like, because he is great. I mean, obviously we supported Dickus in that fight and we wanted Dickus to win, but it's still Robert Whittaker. I mean,
he can do some damage to that division still for sure. I think he is still. I'm probably still gonna say this every time. Probably too disrespectful towards Sean Strickland, but he's not in my top 3 in that division. The top 3 is Izzy's still around. The top 3 is Drickus, Izzy, Rob. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And the order of Izzy, Drickus, whatever, you can put it a certain way. But those are still the top 3 in the division. Yeah. And if you want to be anything in this division, you've got to get past, depending on who might be champion, there's implications of Drickus possibly being the champion if he beats Strickland, which you think will happen. Yeah. But you got to beat a Rob Whittaker, you got to beat an Izzy. And I want to see Rob Whittaker fight, like you say, again. Yeah. So whether it's Khamzat, which probably not because of his injury and Ramadan and everything, Paulo Costa, Allen. Yeah, that's a really good fight. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think would happen with Allen and Costa? It'd be interesting, eh? I think I'd have Allen, actually. I also think I'd have Allen. I think Costa had this air of invincibility about him, like this berserker killer that was hard to take down, strong, athletic. And then Izzy just kind of derailed that, and then Vittori just took it completely off a cliff. Yeah. But I still do think he's a good fighter. I do think he would have beat Khamzat, like a full proper camp. He would have beat Khamzat. Yeah, for sure. I do think so still. He's also he's big for the division. He's huge. Yeah. Yeah, and Khamzat's not so huge. Yeah. But also, he could have. It would be how well can he counter wrestle? But yeah, Allen Whittaker makes more sense. I think that's a closer fight for me. It'll be a very entertaining matchup as well. Yeah, I think it's a much closer fight for me. Because let's be honest, Allen's beaten some good guys, but he needs to now beat a top tier. Yeah. Even after Drickus beat Whittaker, people were like, "Oh, he needs one more fight, and he can fight for the title." So why would Allen fight for the title now, and why would Allen get a title fight next? So no, you just beat Craig. No, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a better fight to make, to be honest. Yeah. Even though Robert Whittaker doesn't want to fight. Yeah. Fair enough. But I think I also think that because Rob, I think you would only need one very convincing more or one more win to get back into title contention.
Well, especially, I mean, it doesn't really matter who wins between Dricus and Sean,
Yeah.
but especially if Dricus wins. The rematch.
Yeah.
Redemption rematch, even though they'll probably book Dricus Izzy.
Yeah.
But I do agree. One more fight. I mean, he's at that level now where he's like on Charles' level where Charles can have a loss, come back and win.
Yeah.
And be straight in a title shot again.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with you. But Costa versus Rob might be more likely because Costa's higher ranked and he's got a name. And maybe, and realistically, I don't think Rob takes easy fights, but I think it's a more winnable fight for him.
For sure.
Even though both are winnable, but I
Yeah.
think it's a more winnable fight than Allen.
Yeah, because I think like Allen, that's like a chess match, but I think with Costa, he's just gonna keep that range, be like super awkward, and then just kind of I see it piecing
Costa apart.
Yeah.
But do you want to take that risk? That's the only thing. So
yeah, for sure.
It's going to be interesting to see again that damn middleweight division, dude. That's something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw now they want to bring back Nick Diaz and GSP for UFC 300.
Yeah.
Why? It's so gimmicky. Like Diaz, shame. Diaz's last fight against Robbie Lawler was sad.
Yeah.
Sad to see. GSP, I can understand. I think he's a good enough athlete still. But I don't know if he'll be big enough for 170 now. I think he's slimmed down quite a bit.
Yeah. You think about 170? Like 155?
I'm thinking GSP might go to 155, although I might be wrong. I mean, he does look a lot smaller than when he fought at 170.
Or like a catch weight, 160.
Dana doesn't like 160.
Yeah.
He doesn't like the 160 division because people were calling for that 160 division.
Yeah.
Which now it comes out that it was right that he shouldn't have done the 160 because could you imagine how diluted things would have been?
Yeah, for sure.
Especially at 170. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like that fight, even as a gimmick fight, even as like a bring GSP back. You know, I don't know if the people from wrestling have gotten in Dana's ear and tried to give him, because in wrestling they bring people back whether they're 60, 70, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, and there's that whole nostalgia feeling for previous generations that watched Ric Flair wrestle when they like 30 years ago that now want to see him come back.
Yeah.
And then it's great to see these guys come back, but then they're like beat up young stars, and it's like that is so unrealistic.
You should bring back CM Punk for
UFC
300.
Dude, Dana White was talking about how good a relationship he always had with CM Punk. So it'd be so interesting. Imagine imagine they have a fight card in Chicago and everyone starts shouting for CM Punk, and just all of a sudden main event. You got you have Aspinall Jones in Chicago, main event, John Jones wins or Aspinall wins, holds the title up, and then all of a sudden, the crowd goes mad, and CM Punk comes in, is like, points at the UFC, whatever sign, is like, let's go fight there.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so, no. That's it's a 2 and done. Like CM Punk never ever enter the octagon ever again. Please, no.
Yes.
So, yeah, just interesting that they want to bring these gimmick fights in. So, I think they should do gimmick fights with Dustin Poirier. I think Dustin Poirier should just keep doing his gimmick fights with the Conor fights and things like that.
Yeah.
There's talk of him and Tsarukyan fighting.
You're not a fan? No.
I'm not a fan of that fight because I don't think Dustin fights for a title.
I mean, that's fair. I also don't think what does Tsarukyan have really to gain there. I mean, yeah, he should be kind of only top contenders. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Dustin, although he's never fought Makhachev for the title, so what?
And I mean, Dustin versus Khabib was also pretty good up until the point that he got submitted. Yeah,
dude, he almost submitted Khabib, but that was prime Dustin Poirier. That's the thing. I think
a
loss like the one to Gaethje changes you. It's kind of like the one that Conor took against Dustin.
Yeah,
where it was like the momentum just in a shot, the momentum changed.
Yeah,
you know, Dustin was like doing his usual, and then Gaethje just hit him with the shot and was like, boom, done.
Yeah,
and I think that can mess with you quite a bit. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's a good time for UFC fans, especially us that don't have to pay for pay-per-view.
Yes.
There's so many good fights that can come out, and I think also that to tie into this whole PFL thing is like Dana's not worried. He's got all the big stars. He's got all the options, like middleweight, bantamweight, even featherweight. And now I got lightweight, flyweight. There's so many options.
And for PFL to pick up any one of those oaks, like your
past their prime.
Yeah,
definitely past their prime.
And they have to pay them so much. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they have to overpay for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. Interesting to see. Just don't do the UFC 300 fight
Yeah.
with GSP and Diaz, please.
I wonder when they're gonna announce that though, because they announced like everything up until UFC 299 like a while back, and now they're just like holding it out.
I think they're holding out for Conor, to be honest with you. Like that is the biggest star.
Yeah.
Like the second biggest stars are John Jones or Izzy.
Yeah.
Izzy within social media following John Jones within achievement, but Izzy also his achievements are good.
Yeah.
So I saw a rumor that Alex Pereira versus Izzy for the light heavyweight title is going to headline.
Oof.
You can't have the heavyweights; they're
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Connor's apparently out, so now it's going to be Izzy versus and especially now with Jamal
Hill
Hill
is
got
still out.
arrested.
Oh, hectic!
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Oh
got
yeah, I
arrested.
did see that. Yeah, for drunk driving, right? Is
DUI or something like that.
Yeah.
So possibly that'll be it. I mean, that UFC 300 card we speculated for a long time, but
I'd like that actually. And also Jamal Hill, he still needs his time out. I don't think he's fully recovered. Right? It was an ACL injury, which should take you out for like a year.
And Uncle Ive and Walker Johnny are fighting each other, so Uncle Ive's out of that picture. Walker Johnny's going to make his redemption arc. I promise you, Aljamain Sterling 2.0. I'm just going to say it every time.
Yes.
Every single time. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're not, I mean...
And Alex is active. Yeah.
And that's the second heaviest division that you've got is the light heavyweights.
Yeah.
They can't do the middleweights because that's now happening in Feb and in UFC. In January in UFC. Possibly, actually, they could do that, but that's a stretch. Hey, like if you fight on the 20th of January and then to go fight in April again,
Drickus a turnaround of like
again,
yeah.
And they'd be like, "This is the second time you pulled
We're
out.
stripping you. Yeah,
we're stripping you.
Yeah.
We're not stripping John Jones. We're stripping you." Yeah, no, hopefully not. But I mean, he'll do it if he's injury free. He'll do it.
Yeah.
But possibly Alex versus Izzy. If you're Izzy, I wouldn't take that fight if I was Izzy.
I think I mean, I wouldn't want to fight Alex when he's like not cutting that much weight down. Yeah, for sure.
But to be fair, I would rather. I mean, if you're Izzy, you'd fight a bigger Alex Pereira, even though he's super dangerous and scary, rather than fighting Drickus at middleweight.
That's fair.
That's my because Drickus' style. There's like a very low chance of you beating Drickus. Like literally, you've got to clip him.
Yeah.
With Alex, you can. He's not really going to try to take you down. Probably, you just got to watch out for the power. It's more like a kickboxing bout.
Yeah.
Maybe they've told him months in advance, like just
maybe
don't stay thin.
Also,
speed and timing.
Yeah.
So if you're Izzy, you probably want that fight more. Hey, maybe Izzy doesn't want any of those. And then what do they do?
Yeah.
Champ versus champ, 85 versus 205.
You think
Imagine
Drickus versus Alex?
Drickus versus Alex.
Hectic,
I mean, even if Strickland wins, Strickland versus Alex too.
Yeah.
For the 205 title.
Yeah.
Yo, UFC, you got so many options. You lucky, eh?
That would be amazing. If Drickus is Sean, probably not Drickus because of his size, but Sean is probably the most realistic that he could do 205, 170, and 185. He won't.
The timing is tough. That's the thing. Khamzat might, because Khamzat does those death cuts, and he does it in the Middle East where there have been allegations of people having drips.
Yeah.
There was the allegation of Islam doing a drip. Dan Hooker's team said that for the first fight with Volkanovski.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, but Khamzat could go maybe, but the thing is just like to go up to 205 and have proper good weight.
Yeah, and then cut down.
Although, so back in the day, there was a guy called Thiago Alves who used to cut down from like 220, I believe, or something like that. Joe Rogan put it in the one fight to 155.
Heck.
Or he was doing like 205 or 210 cutting in like 2 to 3 weeks. It was like his water drop to 155.
That's insane.
So, I mean, it is possible, especially with the drip, they could do it. They could do it. So there's no hydration test or anything like that. So, but just as long as you don't do Diaz versus GSP, maybe do GSP versus Leon or whoever. Yeah, go for that maybe.
Yeah.
But just not GSP Diaz, please.
I would really.
It's possible. It would be like Chuck Liddell fighting Tito Ortiz when they did their match, their last fight. It would be
give Kamaru the money fight. GSP versus Kamaru. Because that's in my opinion the two greatest welterweights of all time.
I know for sure. I think undoubtedly the two. I think GSP would do lightweight, probably possible. I don't know. We don't know. I mean, Kamaru, I'll give him the money fight. Why not? I mean, if GSP is also old, so who knows?
Yeah.
Just not Nick Diaz, please. Sorry, love you, Nick Diaz, for like your career, but it's done.
Nick versus Nate. Oh, sorry.
No ways.
That would
Yeah,
never
never.
happen. Never happen.
All right, so we're gonna get into our preview of the UFC Fight Night Song Yadong versus Gutierrez. The first fight we've got is Song, but a different Song. Song Kenan Song 20-7 versus Kevin Jousset 9-2, and this is at welterweight. Song is 3-2 in his last 5. 1-2 in his last 3, actually. So his 2 losses coming in the last 3.
Yeah.
Jousset's on a 4-fight win streak. He's 1-0 in the UFC. What are you saying for this one?
It's actually quite tough to call because Song. I just remember that Max Griffin KO, and that was like pretty brutal. And then I don't think he's really been the same since. That lost to Ian Gary as well. That was pretty bad. But I mean, like, Kevin's also super inexperienced. I mean, that was a very impressive debut. Yeah, I don't think he's, like top 10 ready. So it is quite tough to call. I still haven't made my decision up just yet. But what are your thoughts?
So I agree with you. I think, look, Song, the thing about Song is he's got a lot of UFC experience.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing because, like we've seen now, he's lost 2 of his last 3, and those are pretty bad losses. But me with new fighters, like new to the UFC, especially now with Kevin, like he's very unknown. I do need to see more before I can be sold on him.
For sure.
So I'm gonna go with Song by decision, just because he's got a lot more UFC experience, and he's been there, he's been through tough times, been through in deep waters.
Yeah.
And I want to see more from Kevin. So I'm going to go. And plus, listen, 27 fights versus 11 fights as well. So
Yeah.
I'm going Song by decision.
And Song's also the underdog in this, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure you got that right?
I did.
They got the plus and the minus right.
He's a plus 100.
Wasn't Sean Strickland an underdog against the Bus?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure he was. And there was the guy from Cage Warriors, man. I forget his name, that ended up losing his UFC debut. He was a heavy favorite. So it doesn't always mean it much. But if the betting guy, people that want to bet, maybe that's a good bet to take.
Yeah. I think I also do have Song. I think I also, and decision, same.
Decision.
Yeah.
Okay. So we both got Song by decision for that one.
Yeah, but it's also because Song, I think he's got a bumpy ride, but also, he's had a bumpy ride, but I think it's going to come down to the first round. I think because all of his finishes, he's super impressive first round, but then kind of like wanes after that. So it's, I'm not gonna go Song. Sorry for the flip-flopping. I'm gonna go Kevin decision.
Okay, Kevin decision. Okay. So I've got Song decision. You've got Kevin decision. Fair enough. Okay. The next fight is at middleweight. We've got Park Jun-yong versus Andre Muniz. Middleweight. So Park Jun-yong, 17-5. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Andre Muniz 23-6. He's actually on a 2-fight losing streak.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this fight, firstly?
So with Andre Muniz, yes, 2-fight losing streak, but that was to Craig and Adam. So very stiff competition. And before that, he was also on a 4-fight win streak. So I don't know. He's still very impressive, and I don't know. There's something about his fighting style that I really, really like, and I like his chances in this fight in particular. Park's also, that momentum that we always talk about is super important. This was a tough one to call, but I do have Andre Muniz.
Yeah, it was a very tough one to call because it's misleading on a 2-fight losing streak, like you say.
Yeah.
I was just so surprised by Park against Dariush because I thought Dariush was going to just dominate him on the ground, and Park was slick and submitted him, which was really, really surprising. Yeah. And after that, we're saying how much he surprised us, and he would actually be. I think we said for Bareknuckle next. We wanted Bareknuckle to fight him next. Look, he's great. His BJJ is good, but he is a little bit complacent on the ground. He can get tired still. And he does struggle with takedowns. And if you look at Muniz, it's all going to come down to, can he get it onto the ground?
Yeah.
And work his subs.
Yeah.
So I am also going to go for Muniz. What is your method?
I didn't say, but I'm going to say sub second round.
Damn, man, why are you saying the same as me? I also got him as a sub second round. I think he's going to be able to get his subs and work his get his takedown, work his jiu-jitsu on the ground, and sub him. So yeah, I've also got that one.
Nice.
Okay, so we've got the same pick, round 2 submission for Andre Muniz for both of us. The next fight's at lightweight. We've got the German Nasrat Haqparasat. Have I said that correctly? It's German.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Always
Haqparasat.
Haqparasat.
Yeah.
Haqparasat versus Jamie Mullarkey from Australia. Nasrat 15-5 on a 2-fight win streak. Jamie 17-6, 3-1 in his last 4.
Yeah.
What are we saying for this? Thoughts on the fight first before you give us a winner.
Yeah. I mean, like, so Mullarkey, he did beat at the Prado, but at the same time, I remember that was Prado's debut, right? And that wasn't like the most impressive that we've seen him. Like his fight since then have been really, really impressive. Nasrat, I like him. I think that he's been very impressive in the last 2 fights. The 2 losses before that were like Hooker and Green, and I don't know. Those at the time of those 2 fights, those were 2 really, really good fights for Hooker and both Green. So I'm kind of leaning more towards Nasrat. But it's gonna be interesting. Yeah.
I'm also leaning a little bit more towards Nasrat because he's a little bit more proven in the UFC.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Secondly, he hits really, really hard.
Yeah.
The problem with Mullarkey, yes, he's got great timing and he is better known as a kickboxer, but I think he's less well-rounded.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, than Nasrat, and then I think he's got less power than Nasrat as well. It is a tough one to call, I think, but I've gone with Nasrat decision on this one. I think Mullarkey is still a little bit, he's less well-rounded, but he's still fairly tough.
He's got good cardio as well.
He works hard and he does the best with what he's got. So, but I think Nasrat for me, got a little bit more momentum. Well, they both got decent momentum, actually, to be fair.
Yeah.
Mullarkey's actually got better form. He's 3-1 in his last 4, where Nasrat's 2-2. But like you say, Bobby Green had some good momentum. Dan Hooker had some good momentum.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nasrat for me decision.
I'm gonna go Nasrat TKO 3rd round.
Okay, cool. So I got decision for Nasrat. You got TKO 3rd round. Right. The next fight is we got
the hardest name to pronounce.
Mudaerji.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
That's good. That's Mudaerji.
That's not too bad.
Thank you.
16-5. This is at flyweight. So Mudaerji 16-5 versus Alan Nascimento 20-6. Mudaerji sounds like Arrivederci. 3-3 in his last 6. He's on a 1-fight losing streak. Even though it was a bit of a classic, the last one that his last fight.
Yeah.
Alan 2-1 in the UFC. His only loss is a split decision loss. So what are you saying for this one?
Also a pretty tough one to call. Mudaerji, he's been impressive, but at the same time, like I don't think, he's got a number next to his name. I don't know if I fully believe that. But I think that he's at least stylistically, he's gonna it's not a mismatch, but I think he's what's the word?
It's a good fight for him.
Yeah, it's a good fight for him. Sorry, that was a brain fart. Yeah, it's a good fight for him. Yeah.
So you're saying he's gonna win?
I think so. I see it playing out towards
Method?
him. Yeah. TKO 1st round.
I'm also going I'm actually going with a KO just because he hits so hard.
Yeah.
Look, Mudaerji is very entertaining, but it's that power that I think is gonna do it for him. Second round knockout.
Yeah.
I think so. Not a TKO, an actual knockout.
But similar to the first song as well, where it's after the 1st round, then I think that Mudaerji does, like, I don't know, becomes a little bit useless. Like I don't know, he has so much power and explosiveness in the 1st round, maybe 2nd round as well, but like
it's probably because he gives so much output.
Yeah.
Tries to knock a guy's head off.
Yeah.
Possibly. But
yeah, I think if it gets past 2nd, no, decision to Alan. But yeah, Mudaerji 1st round.
Fair enough. That could be a fair assessment. So we both got Mudaerji. I've got a round 2 knockout. Jack has got a round 1 TKO. Next fight, this is at light heavyweight. We've got Anthony Smith versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Anthony Smith is 37-18. Khalil 12-5. Anthony Smith 1-2 in his last 3. Khalil on a 4-fight win streak with 3 knockouts. I'll give you my assessment first. So obviously we know with Anthony Smith and with Khalil, they're both kind of limited. And they're not the best well-rounded fighters, but they are still both dangerous.
Yeah.
The thing with Anthony Smith, though, I think this is prime Anthony Smith. He could win this and probably would win this.
Yeah.
Best days are behind him, though, to be honest, if we're honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Khalil, in the ground game and in the clinch, he's got fairly low durability. He used his grit and determination, though, in his win, which was not a knockout win against Jacoby, which was quite an impressive win. It was his most impressive win.
Yeah.
The thing, though, here as well, again, you spoke about putting people away early.
Yes.
I think Khalil has to put Smith away early.
Absolutely.
He has to put him away early, because as the fight goes, Smith's going to grow in confidence. His durability is going to be there.
Yeah.
Smith then also will have the ability to take him down, because he won't have as much energy, and that's the key to victory for Smith.
Agreed.
So that being said, though, I am going to go with Khalil round 1 knockout, I think, / TKO. Let's group them together as one.
Yeah.
Because I think he gets it done. I think also the fact that he's got his last 4 fights got three knockouts. I think he'll keep that momentum. Smith, sorry, dude, it's kind of done. He is on the older side.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the way it goes. So round 1 KO for Khalil.
I completely agree. I actually also have the same. I also have Khalil first round KO. I don't know. I was genuinely surprised that Anthony Smith is still ranked number 8. If I'm honest, it does feel like he's maybe on his way out. But yeah, I also Khalil first round. I think that he needs to do it in the first round as well. Yeah.
Okay, so we both got Khalil. You said round 1 knockout, eh?
Yeah.
So we both got Khalil by first round knockout. Then we get to the main event, which is Song Yadong. This one is at bantamweight. Song Yadong versus Chris Gutierrez. Song Yadong is 27-1-1, and Chris Gutierrez is 25-2. Song's only got 1 loss in his last 5 that actually came to Corey by TKO.
Yeah.
Corey Sanhagen. Muniz only has 1 loss. Gutierrez only has 1 loss to Pedro Muniz in his last 10, which is quite impressive. He also has that really, really impressive win and pretty much retiring Frankie Edgar.
Yes.
Song Yadong, though, has got wins over Vera and Moraes.
Yeah, and a pretty dope name.
Yeah, Song Yadong. That's like
yeah.
good rhyming. So, what are you thinking first off before you give your verdict for this one? Because this is really tough to call, and things are not always as they seem in records and things like that. So
yeah, I think Song is tough as nails. That guy's like, the grit is insane, but my mind just goes to the Corey loss. But us, yeah. So that's kind of where my mind's at with Song, and yeah, I can't not think of the Frankie Edgar win for Chris. So it's like those 2 fights are kind of shaping my decision here.
Well, look, just to give you a bit of, for those of you that maybe don't know the fighters, Yadong, very explosive striker.
Yeah,
has got a few weaknesses, even though his wrestling is good. He can be outworked. That's the big thing, and that's what Corey ended up doing with him.
Yeah,
was like outworking him.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, and really, really outworking him. Yeah, look, the thing for me is he did beat Vera. And Chris Gutierrez, if you want to know his fighting style, fights a lot like Vera. Now, it is tough because if you just look at it on paper, Gutierrez should win this, to be honest with you. But I just think the fighting style for me leans better towards Song winning this one. And I think Song has more experience. Their records are similar, but Song's got a lot more experience fighting tougher people. And for that reason, even though, by the way, funny enough, they got the same height, exact same reach, 5'8", 67 inches. That's going to be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah,
I will just say, I think because Song beat Vera, the style of Gutierrez is very similar to Vera. I'm going to go with Song by decision. It is going to be a tough ask because it's 5 rounds
Yeah.
and he can be outworked, but I think he's got enough to do it, and he wins by decision for me. Song,
I'm going Gutierrez.
which is fair.
Yeah, it's just I see it playing out that Gutierrez can do the outworking, or at least manage explosiveness or the pace of the fight better. But that's a good point that you're saying. There's a similar style to Vera. Yeah, it would be very interesting. Yeah.
So we're going to put the results up on screen. We do have differences. So results are up on screen right now. Some nice picks I got there.
Nice. Yeah.
We'll see who wins next week. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that episode, and please let us know what you'd like to see for next week, and tune in to see who takes home this big, beautiful gold belt. Until next week, guys. See you then.